Just a few days ago, a new study revealed the male hobbies that women find most attractive and find least attractive. And the results may surprise you. Some of the hobbies that we as men think women would go wild for, they're not so bothered by. And some of the hobbies you'd think ladies would be so-so about are actually the most attractive of all. So let's take a look at these lists, discuss why the results are the way they are, and see what we can learn from them. Hello, my name is James, and I'm on a mission to create a generation of gentlemen. If you want to discuss topics like this with me on a twice-weekly video call, you can join the Gent Z community using the link down below. In this survey, women were given a list of 74 male hobbies and asked to categorize them either as attractive or not attractive. So let's take a look at the hobbies women categorized as attractive. I was very surprised to see that reading is number 1 on this list. Personally, I would think that a hobby is attractive if it demonstrates a particular talent or skill that's hard to obtain, but literally everybody can read. Mind you, not everyone does. In fact, almost half of Americans did not read a single book last year, and even fewer read high-quality literature or non-fiction. So when a man makes a habit and a hobby of reading, it shows that he is intelligent. Women are looking for men who can be thoughtful and reflective, who can make wise decisions. It's no surprise that reading is almost universally seen as attractive. And if you don't believe this survey, just take a look at the Instagram account Hot Dudes Reading, which has 1.2 million followers. Women love seeing a handsome man buried in a book. And it does seem to be particularly a paperback or a hardback book instead of an e-reader. Next on the list, we have another intellectual hobby. That's learning foreign languages. Again, this one surprised me. Although I can understand why it's attractive and beneficial for a man to speak multiple languages, I didn't expect it to get women so hot and heavy. But think about it. If you can speak a foreign language, what does that say about you? It shows that you are well educated, likely well traveled, studious, and disciplined. Because we all know how hard it can be to learn a language. I'm not fluent in any language other than English, and even that one is questionable after a few whiskeys. But in the efforts that I have made to learn foreign languages, for example, doing a bit of Duolingo Spanish, I've definitely not felt very sexy at the time. However, it is a great feeling when you go to a foreign country and you can deploy your language skills. It makes you more confident and it enables you to have a richer experience of that culture. If I were a woman traveling with a man, I would definitely find it attractive if he were able to take the lead and speak to the hotel staff, the taxi driver, the waiter, etc. in their native language. As a lifelong guitar player, I was happy but not surprised to see that musical instruments are number 3 on the list. I think we all know that women love musicians, especially if you can get good enough to play a song for her or even write a song for her. Fantastic. Just like the languages, I think women like to see a man do something that they know is difficult or perhaps they can't do themselves. To master any instrument takes years of dedicated practice. But anecdotally, I can say that certain instruments are definitely more attractive than others. Guitar is probably the most masculine and it's very versatile. There are many opportunities to play the guitar in daily life. And women love it when you serenade them on the acoustic or show off your lead guitar skills on the electric. Piano is another instrument that women enjoy watching. But when you get to the less popular classical instruments like the oboe, the tuba, the bassoon, I'm not sure if they have quite the same level of sex appeal. I highly encourage all men to at least attempt playing an instrument. I found it to be an incredibly rewarding part of my life. And it teaches you important skills like patience, focus, and dedication. 4th on the list is cooking. Obviously, everybody likes to be cooked for. If a woman can cook, that's a very attractive hobby. But most of the world's top chefs are men. And if you invite her to your place and you can cook a fresh meal from scratch, it's going to be very impressive as a great 3rd or 4th date. And 5th on the list is woodworking. Out of all the hobbies, this is probably the most masculine. Women love a man who can work with his hands, but woodworking is also very cerebral and creative. So this one hobby demonstrates many attractive traits in one. So, interestingly, going to the gym, bodybuilding, martial arts, all of these very manly hobbies did not make it onto this list. I have two theories about this. Either women just expect you to be in good shape and they didn't feel the need to say that these hobbies were necessarily attractive. Or possibly they like the results of a guy who works out, but they don't like a lot of the cultural things that go with it. Maybe they don't want to be with a guy who obsessively talks about the gym, spends hours there, he's always tracking his calories and his macros. I think the lesson to take from this is that going to the gym, being in good shape is important, but it shouldn't become your entire personality. You need other hobbies to stimulate your intellect and creativity to be an attractive, well-rounded person. Now let's turn to some of the hobbies that were considered unattractive by women. At the very bottom of this list is manosphere. When I first saw this, I thought, oh shit, is this me? Am I manosphere? But when I looked a bit more into the definition, it seems like manosphere is more of the incel culture and men going their own way. So if a man is involved in the manosphere, they're likely to think he's a misogynist, that he's socially isolated, that he's likely to shoot up the high school. I don't think watching videos like mine would make you unattractive to women, and I hope that my female viewers will agree in the comments. I'm going to skip over the next few hobbies quite quickly because it's very obvious why they would be unattractive to women. In fact, I question if some of these are even hobbies at all. Porn, gambling, arguing online. Funko being the fifth worst made me laugh. Obviously, I didn't think it was attractive, but I didn't know that those little figurines were quite so hated. Marijuana being so low down actually surprised me because I know many women are also into smoking weed. And in fact, I know many couples enjoy getting high together, especially before a bit of rumpy pumpy. But many people who do smoke weed allow it to become their entire personality. And that is definitely the behavior of a loser. I don't smoke weed myself. I highly discourage young men to do it, and I hope this list will be another reason to avoid it. Now, here's a finding that surprised me, and I think it will surprise and possibly offend some of the viewers of this channel. Being interested in cigars was rated as less attractive than being interested in makeup. Full disclaimer, I've smoked a few cigars in my life. I'm definitely not necessarily against it, but I do think that in the male online space, cigar smoking is much more glamorized than it should be. There are still health risks with cigars, it can still be a vice, and you're much better off not doing it at all. With regards to women, most women just don't like smoking of any kind. They don't want you to vape, they don't want you to smoke cigarettes, and they don't want you to smoke cigars. Very few women prefer a man with a smoking habit. And I know this will ruffle a few feathers, but being really interested in cigars, being quite nerdy about them, can be seen by women as rather cringe. So, why was being interested in makeup rated as attractive by 1 in 4 women? Well, that's the world we live in right now. But in fact, throughout history, certain women have always been attracted to more androgynous men. However, a classically feminine woman today will definitely prefer that her man has no interest in makeup. I don't imagine that many guys who watch my channel wear makeup, and if you want to attract a more feminine, traditional lady, I definitely don't suggest that you do. However, the findings do not lie. On the whole, it's still seen as more attractive than smoking cigars. Another hobby that was rated as highly unattractive was clubbing, and I hope that some men will get a sense of relief from this, because the truth is, most men don't like clubbing, they only go there to try and meet girls. But what do women think of the club guy? The guy who's there every weekend with the bottle service, the table. They actually think he's kind of cringe. I'm not saying I've never done this, but if you do it every weekend, it becomes a hobby and a habit for you. That's kind of embarrassing. And the older you get, if you're in your 40s and 50s doing this, it's really embarrassing. A good woman is looking for a man who uses his time more constructively, to create something, to improve his mind, to give to his community. Clubbing is fine once in a while, but if it becomes a hobby, if it becomes every weekend, you're probably trying to fill a hole in your life that should be filled with something more productive and worthwhile. So why does it matter what a woman thinks of your hobbies? Shouldn't you just do what you like anyway? Well, if you like reading incel forums, smoking weed, and watching porn all day, then no, you shouldn't do that. In fact, there's a deeper reason why we should pay attention to what women find attractive. The reason why women like certain hobbies for a guy is because these hobbies demonstrate character traits that they are genetically hardwired to find attractive. And by taking up these hobbies, we can develop these character traits and become better men. The man who reads, the man who plays music, the man who builds things with his hands, that's the protector, provider man that every woman wants. Yes, there are some cultural influences at play too, but a man who is intellectual, artistic, and physically capable has always been seen as attractive. Now I want to hear from you in the comments. What are your hobbies? And have you received either a positive or a negative response from women about these hobbies? Or perhaps you are looking to make some changes and introduce some new hobbies to your life. If that's the case, I hope this video has been inspiring to you. If you want to be involved in discussions like this during twice weekly video calls with me, wherever you are in the world, however old you are, you can join the Gent Z community using the link right down there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.